Welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, my former college teammate with cross country and track, Jeremy Ortiz. He is now a professional boxer, so I'm really excited to share his story. He really worked his way up from the amateur rankings to the professional rankings, and I remember in college when we were talking about our dreams and what we want to do throughout, like when we're running to where we want to be with hockey and with boxing for you. So I'm glad to see how it's been, and I'm really excited to dive into your story and really like go into depth and details about how you got to where you are. So welcome to the show, Jeremy Ortiz.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jack. Glad to be here finally.
Yeah, of course. We've been trying to make this work for the last what, probably a year and a half, 2 years
Yeah,
or
year and
something
a
like
half. Yeah.
that. So it's good that we're finally able to get some time going and be able to just dive into everything from boxing, your mindset, and just how you're able to work your way up from amateur to pro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All right.
but yeah, but like, do you want to give like background information on you, like like who you are, like who you are as a boxer, and like when you first started, and, like your how you worked your way up?
Yeah. Um. So again, Jeremy Ortiz. I am a 4-0 professional boxer. So 4 wins, 0 losses. Um. I've been ranked as an amateur, ranked second and third in the country back in 2019, 2018. Um. I have over like close to 60 fights. I got about 45 wins, 15 losses. But in the background of it, I would say about when I was even before that, I started doing combat sports when I was very little. I started with taekwondo. Um I made it all the way up to like a junior black belt, which was like really the real start of becoming like a master if I kept doing it. But I had stopped, and then I was moving around different sports. I was doing like wrestling, um, I was doing judo, football. I was doing all these other sports, and then eventually I found my old taekwondo instructor at an MMA gym. The MMA gym, um, my dad had found it, so he took me in, and then we started doing. Since I was already doing all these other sports, I picked up wrestling and kickboxing and Muay Thai. So I was really learning all these other combat sports, boxing, and I started with that. And then eventually, we were doing a lot of sparring. And in the sparring, I would only use my hands. I wasn't using my kicks. I wasn't taking anybody down, even though I was good at it. I was only using my punches. So eventually, I'd sparred this really older kid. He was like 2, 3 years older, and he was just kicking the shit out of my legs. Like I was limping in the middle of the sparring. Um, so then at the end, we're on our drive back home. My dad asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want to keep doing this, or do you want to just do boxing? Because you're just using your hands." And then I was like, "I just want to box." And back then, like right now, I would have probably went back and tried MMA a little bit longer, but I picked boxing. So then I focused on that. Um, and then from there, I got my first fight at 13. I had entered the tournament called the Silver Gloves, won my first fight. Um, and then from there, my dad and I were picking up different fights from all across the state of Illinois, different tournaments, and then I even in gym hopping. So we went from that MMA gym to an actual boxing gym. Um, and from there were some uh, disputes between the owners. So then we gym hopped to another one uh, called CYBC. It's called Chicago Youth Boxing Club. It was a nonprofit for kids for troubled kids, basically to get out of the streets because it was in Little Village, which is pretty not so good neighborhood.
Yeah.
Um, but the kids there were dogs, monsters. These guys had won national tournaments before, um, and they were just really good. So my dad, it took me there to get some of the best work in our state, really. And I'd stay there for a couple years, and then we would all go to nationals. We would all get ranked top 10. And that's where I started. I was getting ranked in the top 10 at first, and then I kept going, kept going, kept going, and then eventually I would make it to the semifinals. For So there's like three different tournaments: the Easterns, Westerns, and then the U.S. tournament. So all of these give you points basically for a ranking. So the more tournaments you go to, and where you then the more fights you win in those tournaments, you get more points. So obviously, if you get first in a tournament, that gives you a lot of points.
Yeah.
Um, and then it changes a lot. And then at the end of the year, they all reset. So at the end of the year, in that last tournament, you can get ranked. If you win that tournament, you get ranked number one. So in the last tournament of my of one of them, at this time I was ranked number two. So they put me at one on one side, and they put the best guy in the other side, and we climbed our way up. We fought like what 4 or 5 days straight.
Wow.
So in the boxing tournaments, um, you have to make weight. So at that time, I was fighting at 132 pounds, and um, every day with no we have call them buys, which means you get a day off between the next fight. With
Yeah.
no buys, we fought. I believe it was 4 days where we just fought every day up until we were the last ones, and then that was one of the biggest fights I've ever had. Definitely one of the hardest. Me and the guy were going tip for tap, punch for punch, and then and then the day I lost by one judge, it was 3-2. It was 3-2. So by one judge, five judges, I lost by one, and he went on to win gold. Um, but then that like showed me like this is something I want to keep doing though. That's what motivated me to keep going, and that I knew that I wanted to go professional. From there, my dad got in contact with this very famous coach. His name is Robert Garcia. A lot of people in the boxing community know him. He's one of the best coaches in the game. He's helped a lot of fighters win up from contenders to prospects to world champions. So my dad got in contact with him, and I was lucky enough for him to get some eyes on me. Just take a look on my just like on my Instagram or some videos my dad would send.
Yeah.
Then he invited us to come down for some training. So we went down for a weekend, or I believe, or actually just a week. So we came down for a week. So my dad and I, we stayed in a hotel. We went out there. Um, definitely, I was definitely nervous. First time ever going out there, and then I was seeing like these world champions and these people I would see on TV. Like, oh man, so this is the real deal. So I was over there training with them. I sparred with a couple of them, people who were actually in my national tournaments who were not pro. Um, and I had sparred some of them. And at the end, he said he liked what he saw, and he invited us to come out whenever. So then from then on, um, I went. I turned professional, and then I would go out there to right for my training camps. So then now I'm up there, 4 fights. Um, 4 fights as a professional. Now chasing my dream, trying to be of becoming a world champion one day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great background story, and just like it really shows that you're in it for like the right reasons, and you're just continuing to get better every day, and like use that performance and those experiences that you've had from prior fights to help you learn. So like what do you learn from like when you're in these fights, and whether you lose or win? Like I'm sure you always learn about something about yourself.
Yeah. Um, yeah, man. It all depends. There's a lot of things that when you go into. Um, a lot of people don't realize that boxing is a mind game just as much as it is a physical game.
Yeah.
You can you can knock somebody out anytime. You can stop somebody, hit somebody with a good punch, but people like really popular guys named Gervonta Davis, Tank. Um, like these guys are very like whenever I go into these sparrings and these fights, I try to get smarter. Like why did I lose this? What was going on? Like the technicality of what you're doing with your both your body and then
Yeah.
just your body and your mind. So it's all just a mind game. So everything you're doing in there, you're trying to set up for a punch or a combination, which is like a bunch of punches. So right, so you're just
Yeah.
trying to land them. So like um my first, like when I was an amateur, I learned, okay, my first couple fights, I learned, okay, I got to throw more. I got to throw a lot more punches because it's a less lot, like less a lot. It's the time is a lot less
Yeah.
because you start from like a minute 30 or 1 minute rounds. Then as you get older to like 15, 16, you get to 2 minute rounds, and then 16, 17, and then 18 and above is 3 rounds. So um so at first I learned, okay, I got to throw more. I got to throw more. Then um as I got to those longer rounds, I was like, okay, I gotta work on my defense. I gotta learn how to move my head the right way. I gotta learn my positioning, how to step into a fight, and then how to get out of a fight.
Yeah.
And then once we got to 3 minutes, I learned, okay, it's not about how many punches I'm throwing. Now it's about landing the right punches and then getting out, not getting hit with when they try to throw. Um, and then now as a pro, it's a lot more of that. It's a lot more, okay, now that I'm going to be going more rounds, now it's about, okay, not throwing a lot of punches, but making sure every punch counts or every combination is counts. So whatever I'm throwing, it's meant to land or control, right? It's all about control. It's all about controlling what the other guy is doing. So if you're throwing and then you stop and the guy throws back, to have the control is you're deciding the pace, right?
Yeah.
So if he's throwing, it's because I'm letting him do that. If he's making me step back onto the ropes, it's because I'm stepping back. I'm choosing for him to do that. If he's moving back, if I'm stepping forward and I'm engaging, I'm choosing. So it's all about the control position. So right, like professionally, now it's all about the control and the setup. Am I setting up a punch? Am I setting up um to get him in a certain position? So these are all different things that you really learn, and then you also like obviously you got to make sure to keep your body in the best shape as well.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling like, okay, I'm throwing my punches and I don't feel like my punches are really doing anything to the other guy. Okay, maybe you just got to build a little bit more strength. Okay, I feel like my punches are slow. Okay, you got to work on building some more speed. And if it's not speed and you can't really get as fast, okay, how do you then place your slower punches where they need to be? Right? How do you at that point it's what we call timing, the timing of when to throw a punch, of when to throw the right punch at the right time, at the right place, right?
Yeah.
So it's very technical, but those are um, quite a few of the things that you learn when you're in there.
Yeah, I love how like technical it is, and like you have to like really start thinking about what you want to do, when you want to like attack, when you want to play defense, like
Mm-hmm.
when you want to like separate yourself from the other guys, stuff like that. And then like you said earlier, like you learn through those experiences and experiences, and then you're like, I have to get smarter too. Well, like every fight, I have to get smarter. Every punch I throw, I has to get smarter. Every single thing I do has to get smarter if I'm going to come out on top at the end of the match.
Exactly. Like the perfect example is like a lot of people, um, like for boxing, a really good thing to like help with that is like chess.
Yeah.
Chess is the perfect example for it because you have it's not a and my dad told me this perfect way to describe it. It's like it's not the first move, it's the third, right? Or anything after that, right? So the first move is the setup. The second move is the reaction. The third move is what you were planning, is what you wanted,
Yeah.
right? So that's a perfect example of like how you want to really think about boxing.
Yeah, that's a good chess, not checkers. It's a
Exactly.
good it's good to think about it like that, because it really is like you're just setting yourself up for that next punch, that next reaction that you have to have, or that next punch you have to throw. Like you're setting yourself up for success or failure. If you do something wrong at the wrong time, like you're gonna have to fight your way out of what you just did.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, but like what's training like before you get into like these matches and everything? Like what do you do for like training to prepare yourself for the match?
Um, as a professional, like I'm in there. Also helps because I work in the gym. I'm in there almost about 5 days a week. So I train 2 to 3 hours a day, both strength training and boxing. So I do strength training about 2 3 days a week, and then boxing is 5 days a week. Um, Out of those, yeah, I work on um, throwing, practicing with a coach on mitts, right?
Yeah.
When they pads, and then I also work on like bag work, different bags, just working by myself and um, learning to stay consistent with my punches on the bag, and then also practicing my defense. Head movement, blocking, getting out, right. Ring work is just making sure you know where you're at in the ring, and then your strength training on top of that, where you're just building the right muscles, learning how to be explosive, being conditioned, all that type of stuff. So that's mainly how the training looks. And then outside of that, it's just the time on your own, like watching these fights, right? Whether it's for entertainment, it also helps you mentally, because then you see these other like professional boxers or even amateurs sometimes um, do moves or throw combinations, and they're like, wait a minute, you know what? I like what they did there. I'm gonna try to use that when I go
Yeah.
in to the ring next time. So all that is just it's all practice in itself. It's all learning experience.
Yeah.
All the
It's Yeah, it's cool to see how it like transitions not only in boxing but like hockey's the same thing. I'm sure like every sport's like that too. Like you're watching games, that you're watching how guys like for hockey, like if where guys are if they have the puck, where guys are if they don't have the puck, like what's this goalie like thinking like when he's like what like the different types of movement he's doing when the play is going back and forth, and like just watching yourself is a huge thing too when
mm-hmm.
you record yourself, because like I love watching my practices and my game clips after practice or a game. Like a lot of people are like, "You're crazy for that. Like, why are you doing it? It's just practice." But it's like you learn so much from like how goals go in, like how like you're doing like within like the play. If you're ahead of the play, if you're behind the play, if you're like not seeing the puck well, like stuff like that, and like it just really helps you like prepare and like really gets you in the mindset of getting that 1% better every day and just getting like because then you know what you have to do work on for the next time you're at
Yep.
practice. Then you could just analyze it from there for that next practice. Did I do that? Did I do this or stuff like that?
Yeah, that's actually it's such a good it's such a good thing to do uh as for practice, because you get to see yourself, like you said, and you get to watch back, whether it's games, fights, or anything like that. You get to see how you looked. You get to see the mistakes, the things you could have done, the things you did well, things you got to work on. And like another thing that's really good for boxers is looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
So what we like to do is they'll for a lot of boxing gyms, they'll have mirrors in the gym or even around the ring. And it's so good because we call it shadow boxing, and it's literally just when you just get in your stance and you practice your punches by yourself. And you kind of imagine like even fighting someone else when you're doing it. But you get to see, like, when you're shadow boxing, you look in the mirror, you get to see yourself, and you're like, okay, my hands are coming down. Okay, I want this punch to go a little bit higher. I want to throw it this way. Let me make sure I'm turning, like I'm in the right position. Like you get to see all the mistakes you're doing, and you get to make sure that you're doing it the right way. So just watching yourself is just it's such a good thing to do when you're practicing.
Yeah, and like shadow boxing also I'm sure helps your conditioning and everything like that. Because like I know I do that for training for just like off season work here, and like you feel a difference when you're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's actually another reason it's good is because you you build habits.
Yeah.
So everybody has good habits and bad habits. So it's a good way for you to build the good habits, or even just try to correct the bad ones, um, because you can see them happening on yourself. So, yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, exactly. But like when you're going into like these fights, like obviously you do everything at practice, so you're all prepared and everything like that. So it just comes down to performance now. But like the night before, like like what do you do to help mentally prepare yourself for a fight? Because like I know with hockey, like I like visualize like what like some of the saves I might make and stuff like that, and like I might write down a few things that I want to work on, like just to have in the back of my mind, just like keep the rebounds to the corner, just eyes on the puck at all times, 100% focus, stuff like that. Like, what do you have anything that you do like that before a fight?
Yeah, like for me, it's I like to imagine um, so like I'll just put on some music, like the day of, and then like I'll put on some music. I'll just like try to like basically like meditate, just chill
Yeah,
out, like think about the fight, think about how I'm feeling, like what I want to do, and then I'll even go back and I'll watch videos of of highlights of other fighters of professional fighters, see the good things they did. I'll see like edits or yeah, again like their highlights. I'll go watch those, or I'll go back and watch my fights, go see what I did really well in those, and it's like kind of help envision what I want to do out there in the fight.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
that's something what I do.
yeah. You're just that goes back to like the control as well, because you're like thoughts happen rapidly throughout the day, but if you just go in there with control and like your thoughts are controlled, you have like a visualization of what you want to do and how you want to like you want to be top of the you want to win the round at the end of the match. So you just having those thoughts and the visualization of doing it like really helps create like a real picture that goes from like your imagination into real life.
Exactly.
Yeah, but is there like a mindset throughout the fight? Because like I'm sure like those fights are just dog fights because you're just throwing punches, blocking punches, and you're just putting your body out there. It's like what's like the mindset when you're out there in a fight?
Um, Yeah, it just depends, man. So like typically it's a slower mindset. You want to set up what you're trying to do, like if it's a punch or a
Yeah,
move, you're trying to set it up. If it's those tougher fights where the guy likes to get in your face, you want to stay controlled. Um, but if you get in a dogfight, you get in a dogfight. There's not much to
yeah,
think about. You're really throwing, and that's like it's not really that you're not thinking. It's more just like you black out.
yeah,
Like everything just blacks out, and you're going by instinct at that point. And like I've had a way more than a couple moments of those where it's like I black out for a moment and I just do this move and then I don't even remember doing it. And then at the end of the fight, when we go back and watch it, um, like someone will point it out and it's like, or I'll watch it and I'll see, I was like, man, I don't remember doing that. I did that, or I'll be like, I did that, really? Wow, like, so it's funny to think. It's a funny thing that happens when you're so focused on something that you don't even think you don't even
yeah,
think anymore. You're just doing it on instinct.
yeah. Like I read about like stuff like that like all the time. Like even just playing you. Like obviously a lot goes through your mind. Like when you give up a goal, like you don't want to like I'm sure thoughts come up then, but like you don't want to think about it. So like you just put that thought away and just like think positively. But like if you the more you think, I feel like the more you think about stuff and how you're performing, that's when your performance like tanks a little bit. Whereas like you're just going out there's just to have fun. Like it's another game, another match. Like you're just out there just really relying on like your instincts and like everything you've worked up to this point through training, uh, like your mindset, like every like those are typically when like I have my best games. I'm sure like you have your best fights when you just go out there and just don't even think and just have fun and rely on those instincts.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a good point. Like a lot of people forget, like even when you're doing it, look, have fun.
Yeah,
Like a lot of people forget that. Like yeah, it's a job. Whether it's a job, I know you're focused. A lot of people overstress themselves or they overthink. They worry too much about about certain things, and it's like what, like just relax.
yeah,
If you prepare you gotta like if you think about it all, you've prepared yourself for this. You've watched the film. You've gone through the hard part, right? The hard part is the training.
yeah,
So now you're here. This is all you've been waiting for. So go out there and have fun and just do what you got to do,
yeah,
right? Whether or not to struggle, you just got to remember. Like if you have fun, you're gonna be able to do what you got to do.
yeah. You're gonna be able to perform without hesitation when you're out there having fun. Like just say like it's another fight, another game, like you've done this
Exactly. It's another day.
thousand number of times, and you're just doing it just another day, and you're just like once you realize that, like that's when all the stress and everything that goes with performance goes away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah. That's something. Yeah. Too many people forget that part, and it's like, just you gotta. Sometimes you just gotta block it all out, man, and you just go and have fun. Just have fun. It's all
Yeah.
that at the end of the every if you go out and have fun, and especially with like with anything in life, it's just a lot easier for you to control.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like I know we talked about this like off camera, but like you're in it for the right reasons too. Like it's a grind. Like when you want to be the best at your sport, like it's a grind. You go through so much stuff to get to where you want to be because you want to be at the top dog of the fight, top dog of hockey or whatever your sport is. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want to be the best, and it's like to get there, like you have to go through everything. You have to go through hell. You have to grind, and like so like what's in it for you that's like the right reasons like we talked about before.
Uh, um, what are the right reasons for doing it?
Yeah, and like how like just to see people go for their dream for the right reasons instead of like the wrong
Yeah.
reasons.
Mhm. Um, well, for me, like I know you said this, but honestly, I can see like the debate on it. Is like money.
Yeah.
I think that is a good. I think that is a good. Like it is a good. It's a good motivation. You just shouldn't lose yourself in the process.
Yeah.
That's with any sport. A lot of people will do it for money, and it's like, okay, you're doing it for the money. You want to get better, cool. But then some people they go over the top with how they handle it. Um, like with like in boxing, you have people who like to trash talk. A lot of trash talking. Even all the fights, they try to hype it up, and that's how they hype it up. So they go over the sometimes they go over the top and they do certain things, and it's like, yo, wait, like this is supposed to be a show. Why is this going? Why is this happening off? Um, why is this happening off to the side? Like, why are you
Yeah.
harassing these people? Why are you going over there starting something? Um, like like Conor McGregor and Khabib for the UFC. Conor McGregor threw like a chair or something at their bus. Like I don't know what was going on, but if it was just like a small a small disagreement, and then he just got heated and threw it, that makes no sense. Now you just ruined your career for that.
Yeah.
Um, but that's like so. But it's all in the sense. Money, I do think, is a good motivation. Um, Wanting to be the best, wanting to be known, wanting to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
That's another good reason. Wanting to be something. One not something I don't agree with is doing it for the popularity, doing it to be famous. I don't think that's a good idea. Like for the sports that we do, I don't really think, or at least for mine, I don't think that's a good idea because too many people do it for the camera, for the look,
Yeah.
and that's all it is. So then they might not be training as hard as they should be, and maybe they are. Who knows, right? But they go out there and then they're too busy worrying about how they look and then being like or looking good, but not actually being good. So then they go out there and they'll go on to these fights or even these games, and then they end up losing
Yeah.
or end up getting really hurt. And it's like, well, you weren't in it for the right reason. You're too busy trying to look a certain way being instead of being in the right place,
Yeah.
right? So um that's uh one big one that I can think of. Trying to think if there's any other ones. Um Doing it because someone else is just telling you to do it, you know, not being in it for yourself.
Yeah.
Those are those are another reasons that you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be getting it into these types of sports.
Yeah.
Um, and Yeah, I think for the most part, those are the ones that I would say like from the right reasons for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Um, Even just doing it for your family, I think that's a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for someone else. That's good motivation though.
Yeah.
That's still something, that's it's a healthy thing to be thinking about. Family is very. I think family is a really big thing, and I think like doing it for your family is a good reason because family is healthy. As long as you're all in the right place.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing it for all the right reasons, the healthy reasons, and you just want to help just have like your family like there to be like they've gone through everything for you. So like you just want to do that and support them while also chasing your dream as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But like that I agree with everything you said, like just in it for the right reasons and just to get better at to play a sport at the highest level you can and just continue to go on like through the grind and everything to help you get to the best possible rank that you can get.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think this might wrap the episode up. Like I have a few more questions before we fully wrap it up. But
Mhm.
do you have any tips or advice for like younger boxers looking to get to going from amateur to pro, or like even just like the small steps between?
Um, I just say for me, I would say just take your time. Take your time. There's no rush. You know, if you're when you're young, all depends on the age.
Yeah,
But if you're young, you're under the age of 18, man, just take it slow. Just when the fights, there's no rush to being pro. Just get the experience. Experience is a big thing, man, and I believe just keep getting as much of experience as you can, and you'll be surprised on how much that experience helps you in the long run. So just take your time and then just have fun. Have
yeah,
fun. If you don't find it fun anymore and it feels like a chore or a job, you know, in the end of the day, it's a sport and you're young. So for some people, this is especially for the ones of where money is hard. Providing is hard. I know this is something a lot of people try to do and they succeed. But if you're just doing this because it's for fun and you're not doing it for fun anymore, but you're forcing yourself to do it, I don't just stop. Find something
yeah,
else, man. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with quitting a sport you no longer have the drive for. There's
yeah,
nothing wrong with it.
yeah.
Yeah, I would that is my biggest advice for most for boxers, young boxers.
Yeah. If you're having fun, continue doing, go up as high as you can, as high as you want to,
Mm-hmm.
and just take your time with development and the experiences, the reps, like that all adds up and adds you into a better boxer, better athlete, better hockey player, whatever you're going to be, like it just keeps adding on to what you already have to develop and get better.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but before fights, like you said, you listen to a lot of music. So like what type of music are you listening to get ready for your fights?
It depends. So like I put on the typical it would change here and there. So like at first it would be like um certain like rock songs,
Yeah,
um typical like Linkin Park, Nirvana, like just any type of like whatever songs I would have on the playlist. And then it would move on to rap, Kanye West, Jay-Z, Jack Harlow, like whatever's on there to get me pumped up. Um and then now it's just like I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called funk.
I have not.
It is so it's more or less just it's almost like it's like EDM.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's just beat. It's really just beats, but it's the way that they're made that it's like you can feel the beat, so it like gets you pumped up.
yeah,
So another one, it's called like heart style, and this I think that type of music it's really big in like for like lifters, people like to lift. They listen to heart style because it like pumps them up almost like how you would like a pre workout. And it helps them with a set. So they'll put on that song and they'll be lifting and stuff. So that's how it is with funk. So like the funk kind of help me get in like the mindset and like it just helps me uh lock in and think about the fight.
yeah,
It's almost like I'm already in the fight when I'm listening to that music, and then it prepares me for like how I'm gonna feel when I get into the fight. So that's those are some of the those are some of the music I'll be listening to when trying to get ready for it.
Yeah, so your playlist goes to from different genres like mine does. Like a lot of people just like ask like think you're just saying one genre and then they ask me and they're like and it's like I listen to country, pop, rap, EDM, like all within my playlist and it's just whatever gets the juices flowing and gets you pumped up, like that's what you got to roll with.
Exactly, exactly. Whatever gets you ready. Whatever gets you
Yeah,
ready.
exactly. But my final question is you have 4 wins on the pro board right now so far. Like what was your feeling? What was that feeling like getting your first pro boxing win?
My first pro, man, dude, it was blood pumping, man. It was just so exciting. I had I had family members that I hadn't seen in a while coming over. I had people that I known, old friends that I haven't talked to. They all came out to watch that fight. So I got like really pumped. It was like a long time coming. It was such a crazy experience because I've never felt so hyped in my life for something.
Yeah.
And when I find like literally right when we got into the ring, it was nice. It was slow, slow, slow. Like I was just, I was trying to take it slow, but I would so much adrenaline because of what it was. Like I was nervous from the beginning, and then like right when I got in there, I still felt like all that energy. So then, um, the moment he threw the first punch, he threw like a literally it was a straight jab, left hand, very basic. I slipped and I threw a two, connected right onto his chin, and I saw he got stunned because it was also his first fight. That was
Yeah.
his first professional fight too. And I stayed on him, and he just saw me just going boom, 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 ended it in like 12 seconds. The fight lasted like 12 seconds. It was,
Wow.
and after that, I remember just jumping on the rope, just yelling my heart out, and I had my like everybody, like literally the crowd, like I had people like everywhere in the crowd, all of them yelling. It was crazy, man. It was just it was something something I always remember.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like such a good feeling too. Like you have the adrenaline pumping, just like you worked so hard for to be in a spot that you are right now and just to put all the training into it, the all the blood, sweat, tears like into your work and what you want to do and the grind and like it's all worth it at the end of the day, especially when you get like to be on the winning side like that and like you just it just relives like a lot of like going from like your childhood to wanting to be a pro and then now you are actually a professional and it's just awesome to just see that and like feel that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome though. And like sure is with the crowd and everything, like the atmosphere is just unreal.
it was, man. It was. Afterwards, I was just there for like what, like a half hour, just taking pictures of everybody because everybody wanted a picture. Everybody would say what's up and catch up, and so it was yeah, it was a it was definitely something.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a good place to wrap this episode up with that happy memory. But Jeremy, thank you again for coming on the show and it was good catching up with you and just stay on the grind and keep going up from here.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate being on here, man. It's been a long time, so I'm glad we actually were finally able to make this happen. And I just hope for everybody watching that they enjoy the cast.